another episode of Breaking the Cycle with Devin, the channel where we talk about all about the FIRE movement and what we can do to help ourselves get there faster. I'm trying to take you guys along on my journey. Hopefully you guys learned some along the way. Hopefully I can help you guys out a little bit. Remember to just like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. So, what are we talking about today? You probably already saw it in the title, but today we're going to be talking about the traditional IRA. Last episode we talked about the Roth IRA, so if you haven't watched that yet, make sure to go check that out. If I can figure out how to put this in here somewhere, I will. If I didn't figure it out, then obviously it's not there, but just check out the channel, and I'm going to leave a couple of videos so you'll be able to see the Roth IRA video. So today, traditional IRA. And how can we use the traditional IRA to help us out in our FIRE movement? So let's talk about some traditional IRA basics. So, traditional IRA is one of the family of tax deferred accounts. So they're accounts where you can basically try to avoid taxes, which is something that we really like because taxes eat away at your gains and we are trying to avoid them. So traditional IRA, first thing, very similar to the Roth IRA, you have a limited yearly contribution of $6,000 a year right now, but it does get changed every couple of years for inflation. You also can't access these funds until you're 59 and a half years old. But if you watch the rest of the video, if you wait till the end, I'll tell you a couple ways how you can actually avoid taxes altogether. Yeah, you heard me. Completely avoid taxes. So for the traditional IRA, you can put your money in pre-tax, which basically means that you won't get taxed on the money that you put in that account, and that money can grow tax-free over the years, which is really, really nice. And then at 59 and a half years old, you can take that money out, but you will be taxed on the money once you take it out. But as I said, there is some ways around that. So let's talk about are there any other ways to access your money? Because this is the FIRE movement here, and we obviously can't wait until we're 59 and a half years old to access our money. We want our money when we are ready to retire. So there are a couple ways you can do it. Just like the Roth IRA, the Roth conversion ladder is something that you can do. So you can move your traditional IRA into a Roth IRA, and then you'll have to pay taxes on that. And then 5 years later, you can have access to that money. Another way that you can take your money out anytime you really want, but you will pay that 10% penalty for taking that money out early, and that is something you definitely want to avoid. There are also a couple of ways that you can take it out without penalties, just like the Roth IRA. You can of course use it for a down payment on a home up to $10,000, and then the other basic one is that in a bad time or struggle, if you need it for like medical expenses or something like that, you can take that money out penalty free. So, this is the FIRE movement. How can we take advantage of this account, and how can this help us retire early? So, the beautiful thing about the traditional IRA is that you don't pay taxes on that money, and it grows tax-free. So that means your money, that's a couple extra $100 a month that you could put in. Probably not a couple extra hundred, it's probably a little bit less than that, but it's more money that you can put in your account, and it can grow faster. And that sounds amazing, but the problem is when you take it out, obviously you got to pay taxes on that, so now you're paying taxes on a bigger number. But the beauty is that since we're in the FIRE movement, is that when we retire, we will probably be making less money than we are now. And what does that mean? That means that we're going to be in a lower tax bracket. So that means we'll be paying less taxes on that money than we would be right now. So now the question is, when do you invest? When do you invest in the traditional IRA versus the Roth IRA? So if you're in a low tax bracket, you would like to invest in the Roth IRA. If you're in a high tax bracket and you're giving Uncle Sam so much money every year, throw your money in a traditional IRA. It also counts as it can also be deducted from your taxes. So that means if you make $60,000 and you're given at $60,000, I think you're in the 22% tax bracket, and you're like, I don't want to give Uncle Sam all the money. You can put $6,000 into your traditional IRA, and then all of a sudden you only made $54,000 that year. So that's $6,000 less that you're going to have to, well, not $6,000, You only have to pay taxes on $54,000 instead of $60,000. Okay, so now we're getting a little bit closer to the end here. There's not a lot of things to talk about the traditional IRA, but in terms of the FIRE movement, and I said there was a way to access your money without ever paying taxes on it. And how do you do that? So when you put your money into the account, you obviously don't pay taxes on it. And if you actually wait until you're 59 and a half years old, then you also won't have to pay the penalties on it. So now how do we take that money out of that account without ever paying taxes on that money? Well, as you know, when you are filing your taxes, as of right now, there's the standard deduction. You know, this may change in the future, who knows what it'll go up or go down, but for now, there's a standard deduction for single, which is $12,800. If you are filing joint, it's $24,800. And that basically means that, all right, we're gonna put this all together here, so I hope you're ready. So, when you finally retire at 59 and a half years of age, and you use when you're filing your taxes, your standard deduction, filing single, your first $12,800, you don't pay taxes on it. If you're married, it's $24,800. So that means if you pull money out of your traditional IRA, that standard deduction amount is tax free. So you can take out, we'll just say we're single right now, so you can take out your first $12,800 straight out of your traditional IRA and don't pay taxes on it. So that means you didn't pay taxes on it when you put it in, and it means you didn't pay taxes on it when you take it out. And that is absolutely incredible. And yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And it's definitely it's going to be part of what I invest in the future. Right now I'm still in the lower tax bracket, so I don't have any need to be putting anything in the traditional IRA. But in the future, I will definitely be putting in the money in the traditional IRA. I think it'll be a little ways down the road until I start getting those higher tax brackets. But in one of the next episodes, we'll actually be laying it out, what I'm investing into now, and at what point in time I'm going to start switching over to these other accounts. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can see that. Thanks for coming to the channel. This is Breaking the Cycle with Devin. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you guys stick around and come watch some more. I've learned so much information. I've gained so much knowledge over the years that I wish I'd known so long ago. But I do know now, and it's never too late to start. And we can, as a community, we can retire early if we put our minds to it. Once again, thanks for coming to the channel.